Now, I was working with some people, and some people had on the list, commit to my morning routine. And every single one of them, I said the same thing. Why do we do a morning routine? There we go. Rita, why do we do a morning routine?
Self-esteem.
Self-esteem. Kelly?
It prioritizes you.
Yes. You're valuing yourself. You're valuing your goals. You're saying, I'm important to me. That's why we do a morning routine. And how you start your day is how you own your day. So you've already got these mini wins. You'll get 4 to 5 mini wins just for your self-image. So you keep stacking those mini wins every day. That's why you'll do it. The people who are not doing it is because they don't have a big enough reason to do it. We don't do anything without reasons. Like all of you had a reason to come in this room. I had a reason to put on this event. We never do anything without a reason. So if we have a big enough reason to do something, we're going to do it. Now, I have clients who told me they can never wake up. They could never commit to the morning routine. And now I have a gentleman in New York. He says, I can't not do it anymore. It's changed his life so much. But that is setting us up to win. That is what's going to eliminate your hidden commitments. So imagine every day you had 4 to 5 mini wins for your self-esteem. You think that would make a difference?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's why you do it. All right, so we are going to work on some leadership because I listen to you guys. And, you know, most of you are business owners, and if you're not a business owner, you may become one, and you're leading yourself every day. So we want to look back at this. We have one life that we know, and it's about how do we want to live. I want this in your mind so much. How do I want to live? How do I want to live? And it's about contribution. Leadership is all about contribution. And it's about spending your days. The better leader you become, the more free time you're going to have. And it's dependent on how you see yourself. Now, whenever we talk about leadership, what are your core values? What is the core value of your business? I share this quite often whenever I teach leadership. The first thing Mikey and I did when we met, we were in Dallas, Texas. We're sitting in a hotel. When we were deciding to partner up with each other, the first thing we designed was our core values. And so if you have a company right now, do you have core values? Do you know what they are? So we always start from our foundation. Everything is inside out. So these are our core values. Family first. That's always been something we've been aligned with. You know, the physical well-being of ourselves and our loved ones come first. But the beautiful part is that's how we treat everyone on our team. It's always about family. And we have a family within our family. Now, standard, everything with excellence. Now, I want you to think, if you like some of these, make them part of yours. You know, these have really helped us quite a bit. The third one, ask for forgiveness, not permission. We want our team to make mistakes. We want them, that means they're going after something out of their comfort zone. So we have no problem with people making mistakes. And then show up every day, be excited to try something new, take risks and find opportunities. And then hard on work, great to each other. Our output and culture have a high bar. Like when we work, we work. We work with purpose. So, you know that video I showed this morning? Like I'm always stretching our team to disrupt comfort. Always. Because I know the minute they get comfortable is the minute they're holding back. And so as a leader, you want to be able to gauge that so you can see it 4 steps ahead. Because you're going to notice people are going to get complacent. Now, when we're on. Approach the workday with an intense and optimistic output. Like, we want our team's expectation to be through the roof. And then attitude. Everything we do is with a positive mental attitude. Momentum, always getting better. And then service, we serve at the highest level. And outward focus, leaving our team and clients with the impression of increase. This is such an important one for us, that we leave everyone better off than we find them. Every single person. It is such an important one. You know, you may make a mistake, we may make a mistake, but there's always an opportunity to correct a mistake. You can always serve somebody, even if you made a mistake. Like if I made a mistake with Doc, I'd say, Doc, you know, something was going on in my mind. I want to apologize to you because I wasn't present with you. I would tell Doc that. Like if we screwed up with a client that we were not present, they would get a phone call. You know, so we want to leave every single person better off than we found them. Now, when we talk about leadership, you can make excuses or you can create world-class results. It's your choice, but you can't do both. So if you're leading, it's always about personal responsibility. My team is never my problem. If we have a problem, it's because of me. It's not because of anybody else. It always comes down from the leader. Now, you must have a purpose. That means you must have a goal. We have to have daily goals as leaders. We have to have weekly goals, monthly goals, and quarterly goals. Then your goal will dictate your plan of attack, and then we must take action. We must take action. And when I'm saying take action, the outcome's already done before we start. You must be definite. Now, today, a great leader will always live by this philosophy. Today is my masterpiece. Today is the best day of my life. Now, I learned this from a leader that I really respect, John Wooden. He was the greatest college basketball coach in history. And this was his motto. So if you want to get a great book on leadership, it's called Leadership by John Wooden. It's a phenomenal book. Now, your company is a printout of your programs. So if we don't think programming matters, I promise you, if you have a ton of limiting beliefs and you don't take care of them, they're going to be your team's limiting beliefs. And they're going to hold your results back. Now, I told some of you, you guys are building a business and your number one activity has to be selling. It can't be number 4. If you're not selling, you can't help anybody. You could have the best product in the world, but if no one knows about it and you don't master selling, I promise you're not going to be in business very long. Now, leadership is something you earn every single day. It's not once in a while. Your team is watching you every single day. So you earn it every day. Now, if I show up 2 days out of 30, my team is not going to respect me. So you have to show up by example. You always lead by example. Now, as an entrepreneur and as a great leader, you always upgrade 2 things, belief and skill set. Belief and skill set. I want you to get this imprinted on yourself. Every quarter, what belief am I going to upgrade? What skill set am I going to upgrade? Every quarter. What belief, what skill set? Now, I think this is one of the most important attributes of a great leader. They're great learners. They study themselves. They study their craft. They study other people who are further than them. And then they teach what they've just studied. Because once you teach it, it becomes your identity, where you can, if I can get Tigran to understand it, then I understand it. So you teach your team. You teach them how to live a great life. You find out about what they want. See, I want to know what Stacy wants, or else I can't help her. Now, she may have a title on my team, but I can't help her, and I'm not leading her effectively if I don't know what she wants. So leadership is a language. How you speak, you are broadcasting your language and beliefs to your team and customers. Like, do I speak with a positive mental attitude? Do I speak with decisiveness? Do I speak with certainty? Do I speak with both empathy and compassion? Through our language and self-talk, we show the world if we're victims or leaders. I will tell you, Mikey and I were on a call, and somebody asked me what my title was. I said, I don't even know what my title is. I still don't know what my title is. All I know is I've never cared about titles. I've never cared about a title. Leadership is not about title, it's about impact. And so how you are impacting people is much greater than any title you have. Do you know your title? See, I don't know mine either. Mikey, what's my title?
President and co-founder.
See, look how long that is. I mean, that's long. I mean, like, it's about how we make people feel. That's what we want to focus on. How do we make people feel? That's what people will remember. So you cannot build a fearless team if your heart is full of fear. So if you want to build a business and you want to build a significant brand, then you've got to deal with your fears. Because my fear is going to be Kyle's fear if he's on my team. Now, culture is everything. Culture will eat strategy for breakfast. Culture is the most important thing a business can build. Bad culture, I'm telling you, big problems. Great culture, you all overcome everything together. So culture is much more important than strategy. But culture is your invisible beliefs that shape what we want or don't want. Great leaders are constantly working on how can I upgrade culture? How can I upgrade culture? How are you upgrading your culture right now? If I asked you that, would you have an answer? So if you do not have an answer, you're not prioritizing your culture. Now, what is tolerated in your company? What gets punished and held accountable? What are your company's rituals? And what is the personality of your team? So we want to hold our team accountable to a certain standard. And if they don't match that standard, but nobody is held accountable, there is no standard. And so if you're going to create great wealth, you're going to have to become a great leader. That's just the deal. Do you know anybody who's creating 8 figures and beyond that is not a great leader? Anybody? Do you know anyone, Bob? I'm sorry, Doc, I'm sorry. Do you know anyone? In your history?
No.
I don't either. There's a reason for it. They put a lot of emphasis on building it. So, what gets rewarded and valued in your company? What gets rewarded and valued? What you reward is part of your culture. Give people proximity when they earn it. That's a bigger reward than any bonus you can give them. That is bigger than any bonus you can give them. Give them proximity, but make them earn that proximity. Because if you keep giving it to them and they don't earn it, then it becomes entitlement. And what is entitlement? Entitlement creates a very bad culture. It creates a very bad culture. So ask yourself this, do I have buy-in? When I say buy-in, that my team will go through a wall for me. Do I have 100% buy-in, or do I have a buy-in from a couple people? Do I have buy-in for a couple people? If your team is not getting it, it's because you're not modeling it. And this is what we want to take a good look at. Am I a great model? Now, just like there's another version of you that can get 10 times better, guess what? There's another version of the people in your company that can do 10 times better. Your job as a leader is to draw it out of them. How do you draw it out of them? You do constant reviews with them. You tell them what they're doing well, where their opportunity to get better. You communicate effectively with them. So you have to constantly be working with them, and training is literally all year long. You have to consistently train them. When you think they got it, I promise you they don't. You could train them another level. And then they get better rewards, you train them again. And you keep training them over and over again. You're just training them at higher levels that they can accept now. Now, every great leader has a goal. And I'm sure all of you have a goal now. All of you have a goal now. But are you communicating your vision to your team? Have you got buy-in on why that vision is so important for them? Because as the we wins, everybody wins in the company. You can pay higher commissions, you can give greater rewards, you give greater proximity, but if you don't sell them the vision, they're not going to get it. But get used to different, because every day is different. Every day is going to be different. You're going to have different problems that come up. I promise you every day is going to be different. So get used to different. Great leaders are always looking at problems as opportunities. What do you think business is? Business is about solving problems. That's what business is. So that's what we've got to look at. Now, master giving with expecting nothing in return. We want to keep giving our attention, giving our wisdom, giving our experiences, giving our mindset. You know, sometimes I will tell my team something for the thousandth time. Why do I keep telling it to them? Because I know they only hear from their awareness. So I'm not like, well, why didn't they hear that? So I keep the messaging because I watch the behaviors. And I won't tell them, hey, you didn't listen to this. I'll say, remember, this is really important. But I keep giving them the same important messages until they make it a part of them. Because your team is not listening to everything you're saying. They're listening to where their awareness can pick up. That's a huge aha for you in communication. But victims give away their power to circumstances. Leaders never give away their power. You've got to hold firm in your standards, firm in your core values. And you could never lead needing to be liked. You will never be a great leader needing to be liked. Now, I want you to ask yourself, the business owners in here, how much do I disrupt comfort in my team? Is that something I do regularly? Because until you disrupt comfort, how are you expecting your people to grow? Do you disrupt comfort?
I do.
Armin, does he disrupt comfort? Kind of. Yeah, the more you disrupt comfort, the more you're going to raise the team. But every time you blame circumstances, you blame your clients, you blame your sales, you give away your power to lead and transform to the outside world. And now we transform from leaders to victims. Leaders to victims. It happens like this. That's why we have to constantly have emotional control. We have to constantly have emotional discipline. Now, what are the best leadership qualities? They're always pursuing greatness. The only thing they chase is getting better. They're constantly chasing greatness. They're always overcoming their fears and insecurities. Great leaders have fears. Great performers have insecurities, but they know the insecurity is a gift. It's a gift to create their next greatest strength. They're always leading by example, and they're constantly creating extra value to inspire other people. And their job, their whole responsibility is to develop more great leaders. Now, I believe we all have a duty to be a leader and to be an A+ performer and be at your best all the time. I don't know who I was talking to today. I was talking to somebody and I said, would you grade yourself? Give me a grade on what you're doing. And I think they said B-. And I said, you can't get A+ results being a B- performer. So we've got to look at it. We've got to hold ourselves accountable to that standard. And you can't have a C- culture and create an A+ company. Would you agree with that? So we've got to hold and keep ourselves accountable to us. That's why we have to lead ourselves too. Now, leadership is about your beingness. Your beingness, your vibration is influencing more than your words are. Like somebody will know whether I believe in them on my team. And the vibration will tell them that. So you're always broadcasting your beingness. Always broadcasting your beingness. But leaders develop the mindset, they're always relentless. So a lot of people will say, can you tell me how to improve my focus? How do you improve focus? I always tell them, you're asking the wrong question. It's where is your focus? Whatever we put attention on is our focus. So it's not about how do you improve your focus. It's locking in. And once you lock into that area, that's where your focus is going to be. Like if I was working with Mary and I said, Mary, I want us to work on communication. Her focus would be on communication. So if I'm talking to Kyle and I said, I want your focus to be on action, he's going to be diligent on action. So we give our team direction of where to put their focus. Why do we give it? Because we have the experience as a leader. We've already done what they've done. But are you giving them the proper direction? Are you giving them the proper training? Now, activate your power with your passion. Your passion will drive them to go through a wall for you. People love being around passionate people. They love being around confident people. But we've got to surrender to the process. We've got to surrender. What does that mean? That means they're not always going to do what you want them to do. That means they're not always going to be motivated. That means they're going to have bad days, but do you ask them why? Do you say, can I help you with anything? Is there anything you need help with? Now, part of our culture is no hiding. Like if you have a problem, we deal with it. We can help you through it, but there's no hiding. If you hide, you suppress. If you suppress, you can't serve. If you suppress, like if I'm suppressed right now, how can I serve you guys? I couldn't. Now, I want you to set the standard that you're so good at what you do that you become the standard in your industry. You are the very best of the best. There is nobody better than your company. You set that standard, I promise you, you're going to walk into it. You may not walk into it tomorrow. It may be not this year, but over time you will walk into it. But here we go. The mental equivalent shows up again. Everything is a mental equivalent of you. It's your responsibility to build a mental equivalent of what you want. Your mind is you're either communicating to your customers and team in an orderly state or a chaotic state. Your mind is a garden. What are you planting? This is what transformation is about. It's not about money. It's not just about self-esteem. It's about having it all. That's what transformation is. But I want you to ask yourself, how many leaders have I grown? How many leaders have I grown? Or am I doing it all myself? Am I doing it all by myself? A lot of people are control freaks. They think I'm just going to do it all. I'm just going to do it all. But you can't leverage yourself. You can always tell what type of leader you are by the trail of leaders you leave behind. Now, leadership is helping others rise. So do you have a game plan to help others rise? What is your game plan? Do you have a plan of attack to help your team rise? Like a specific plan of attack?
No.
See, we want to create that. We want to deconstruct it. How did you rise? So you show them how you rose, and all you do is deconstruct what you did. So that's the best way to help other people rise, because you've already done it. So you deconstruct everything you've done, and you make it into your own process, and you give it to your team. So you have a proven formula that you know works, because it worked for you. But philosophy is your creed, and then you communicate your philosophy with your team. What's your philosophy? We play the and game. Every problem is an opportunity. I expect us to win every day. Like, what is your philosophy? Now, don't explain your philosophy. You embody it by your example. Don't just say, this is my philosophy. As you live it, Paul, your whole team and the people who are not even on your team yet are going to live it. They're going to walk in and be like, oh, God, I love that energy Paul has. I love that energy Joan has. I want to be a part of that. And so when you embody it, people are going to come to you. But your story determines your potential. Your story, it becomes your identity. Guess what? We have a cultural identity as well. We have to write out exactly how we want the identity of our company. Just like you have an identity, your company has an identity. What do you want your identity for your company to be? And then we build your vision just the same way that we worked on this week. We build the vision and we get emotionally involved with the vision. We hold everybody accountable to the vision. We remind them why they're so important to the vision. But your values and integrity are not for sale. Short-term gains equal long-term pains. Remember that. You may get a sale. You may bring in a person, but if they're not in harmony with your core values, do not bring them in. Do not bring them in, because they could kill your culture. Hold firm to your core values and your vision. Hold so firm with that. Now, leaders are obsessed with pursuing their magnificent obsession. They always have a magnificent obsession. Always have a magnificent obsession. The victim is always focused on the past. Always. What is your magnificent obsession? Your definite goal. The one goal you want more than anything else in the world. Now, creation's already finished, so what you want is already here. Your goal is already here. Creation happens twice, first in our mind and then in our physical reality. But we want to start understanding that. What you want is already here. Now, you may be sitting there saying, I'm just starting out in business. What if I said I don't care? Your goal is already here. It is already here. What you want is already here. Now we build you up. We build your cultural identity up. We build your culture up. We build your skill set up. And guess what? You're going to experience the goal. But you've got to teach your team the power of 5. This is what's going to prevent them to drift. Imagine everybody on your team operated with the power of 5. They all held themselves accountable, because if you're a great leader, your whole purpose is to get them to live much differently than they're living. I love working with salespeople because I have a passion for selling. But I love working with them because once you show them what's possible, they just constantly want to transform themselves. And once you get them to understand that you can't help anyone until you sell them, they start selling authentically, heart to heart. And that's where the game changes. Heidi, how is your sales presentation going?
It's still going. I still need work on it.
Have you been focused on it? Every day?
Yes.
How long?
Since was it July?
July. That's good. When am I going to hear it?
So, yeah, I'll put it on your calendar.
All right. Yeah. I want to hear it. So we don't want to just work the power of 5 for ourselves. We want to say, Kyle, I'm going to show you something that changed my life. Are you tired of drifting? I want you to do this for a week with me, and I'll hold you accountable. Watch how much their productivity improves. Watch how much it'll improve. But you have the power to be the most optimistic person you know with the most amazing positive mental attitude. That's what you control, and that's what it demands as a great leader. Think of a problem right now in your life. I want you to think of a problem you guys have right now. Do you have it? You have it, Kyle?
I got plenty of them.
Okay. So now change your attitude. I want you to change your attitude towards it. And I want you to look at it from a different perspective. This is the greatest opportunity in front of me. Right now. Now, if you get in the habit of doing that, you're going to look at problems way different. The problem is never right now. The problem happened 2 months ago. It happened 6 months ago. Yet people are living their problem over and over again like it's happening right now. So as you change your perception around it, you're going to look at problems way different, and you're going to attract so much more success. Do you know how you get more success? You have to be better. As we get better, we attract better. As we stay the same, we attract the same. So what we have to do is consistently get better and better. That's how you're going to look at it. When you set a ton of problems, maybe a ton of opportunities. See, the biggest attitude you have to come from is, how can I serve? How can I serve better? I think you would agree we can all serve better. Like, you're going to serve better 30 days from now than you did today. And then 6 months from now, you're going to be even better. A year from now, you're going to even be better. But we've got to be driven by serving. But business is always heartfelt. It's a heart-to-heart connection. We want to make sure we're creating relationships, not transactions. Business is always about people. Your customers are craving a connection with you. Do you realize every time you give your customers a connection, it means so much to them? They never forget it. So right now, I want you to ask yourself, is my business right now relational or transactional? Transformation leadership is about creating relationships. So 10x your value obsession. How can I best serve the most people? I'll tell you guys a story. This summer, Mikey and I, we had a program called, we still have it, it's called Peak Performers. Anyway, we created so many quantum leaps for our clients in it. I think it was a 4-month program, is that right?
3.
It was 3 months at the time. So her and I masterminded, and we said, how can we make this so much better than what it is? And we ended up turning it into a 6-month program. And then I said, I want to show people a much different caliber of content. And I wanted to give them every 90 days a 4-hour review of their previous 90 days. So why would we change something that was already successful? Because it wasn't good enough for us. We could make it better, so why don't we make it better? And that's how I want you to think. Don't think it's good enough. Look at what you're doing right now in your business and say, how can I make it even better? It's already really good, but how can I make it even better than good? Even if it's great, how can I make it greater? When you do that, you're coming from strength. You're coming from strength. We can always make it better. Like, Joe, if I was sitting with you right now, I'd look at the products you're doing, even though you're doing a great job, and say, where can I make this better for my clients? The better you make it for your clients, the more they're going to refer people to you. And the more you're going to be proud of it because you keep transforming. So that's what we want to look at. Now, money is a reward you reap from the service you render. The more valuable the service, the greater the reward. So our job is to consistently keep thinking about, how can I make our service better and better? How can I continually do it better and better? And when you do that, you're going to change the game. Now, we've got to understand this, and we've talked about it. A great leader is demonstrating the law of compensation. The amount of money you earn will always, not sometimes, it will always be an exact ratio to the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty there will be in replacing you. But the only thing we have to focus on is our ability to do it. So we keep mastering what we're doing over and over and over and over again. And you think I'm done? No, over and over again. That's what greatness is about. They're never satisfied. They're constantly upgrading their service. And when you do that, that's when you're going to have a lot of money in your bank account. But the greater the impact, the greater the fulfillment. Think about it. Do you remember the feeling more when you earned a certain amount of money or when you really changed somebody you really made better? You always remember the fulfillment. You'll remember a sale for maybe an hour, but you remember a fulfillment over and over again. And that's what we've got to get to the service part. We got to get to the giving. The giving always activates the receiving. But service to many is what creates great wealth. I keep putting this up in different ways because I want you to get it. But you serve to many by serving to one person, but you lock in on that one person. You lock in and make them the most important person. And that's with your team. You make that person on your team the most important person. And when you do that, I promise you, you take the attention off of you and you put it onto others, people will naturally be magnetized to your business. But we've got to stop focusing on what we're getting and focusing on others, how we can help them. How can I help them? But that's how you're going to create a world-class economy, by being a great leader. I told you this yesterday. Your greatest leverage is your team. Your greatest leverage is your team. Every person, whether it's somebody you outsource or somebody that's directly on your team, is an income-producing asset. We want them to be the best version of themselves. And they're only going to be the best version of themselves if we deposit into them. We've got to consistently deposit, even when it's hard, even when they frustrate you. Because they may frustrate you at times. They may lose focus. They may not be motivated. But our job as a leader is to come from understanding. And when you do that, that's how you're going to create freedom. But leadership is about what you do when nobody is watching. What are you doing when nobody's watching? What are you doing? What is that conversation you had that nobody else knows about? What is that practice that you're doing that you've never shared it with anybody? That's what leadership is. What is that example? What is that great example that people are admiring when nobody's watching you? When nobody's watching you. That's leadership. But small little acts of value are the essence of leadership. A compliment here. Just a tiny compliment. It makes a big difference. It makes a huge difference. Consistency is power. We've got to be consistent in our communication. I can't say to Paul, I really want to help you, and then I don't talk to Paul for 3 months. He is full of shit, right? You know how many people do that? They say, I really care about you, and they send out a double binding message. No, you don't. I made a sale, so I get it. That's not the deal. You've got to be authentic. Lead with an open heart. But always create value. Value, 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 value. How can I keep creating more value? But where are your acres of diamonds right now? Where are the things you don't see that in your business right now, there's a huge opportunity? Right now, in every one of your businesses, in every one of your lives, there's a huge opportunity. Are you looking for them? Just ask the question. Turn it over to your subconscious mind and say, what idea am I missing on that would really create a massive quantum leap in my business? And then 2 days from now, you're going to drive. 5 days from now, you're going to drive. You might be in the shower. All of a sudden, the idea comes. But your subconscious only follows your orders. Are you asking? Are you asking for that advice? See, that's what we want to do. That's leadership. So if you look at leadership, it is such an important trait for us to really put our attention on. But guess what? If you put leadership in one word, transformation. As you transform you, you're going to want to lead. So how are you communicating? That's leadership. How are you listening? That's leadership. So if you want to create a massive quantum leap, you want to really master leadership. What are you thinking of this, Sonia?
My brain is 1,000 things are going off at once in terms of like provide that service, be that leader, be there, be the consistency, like all the things. Like there are not problems, there are opportunities and solutions here. So like you don't have to tell yourself that negative story because there's a lot of amazing things happening.
Everything is happening for us. But now everybody doesn't believe that. But somebody who has a great mindset knows it. So it's all about that's an attitude. Like if we looked at Kyle's attitude, I got a ton of problems. I don't buy it for a second. I didn't buy what he said. Why didn't I buy it? Because I work with him. He doesn't have a ton of problems. He has a ton of stories around one problem. That doesn't mean he has a ton of problems. Would that be accurate?
I believe you.
Yeah. So we have a ton of stories that we create into 10 problems. They're not. We deal with that one, you're going to wipe out all the others because everything impacts everything else. So when you start looking at things differently, the things you look at will change. Like Wayne Dyer said that years ago. There's nothing more accurate than that. So we want to bulletproof everything, Sonia, for you, and not in overwhelmment, but focus on one part of leadership. So your first part may be, I'm going to find out what the people in my company want. That might be a great place to start, don't you think? And say, I'm going to help you get there. They're going to say, how are you going to do that? Say, I don't know yet, but I will find out. A confident person isn't a person that knows everything. A confident person is a person that knows they will figure it out. That's what confidence is. They don't know the answers, but they know because they believe in themselves that they'll figure it out. That's what a confident person is. All right, any questions? Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So you mentioned find out what your team wants. Is it within the company or is it what they want kind of as a goal for their personal self?
Both.
To work with?
Both. Find out both. What is their goal? What is their biggest goal in the company? Because that's what you're helping them with. And say, what do you want? Like, where's your growth? Where do you want to go? So once you really show people you care about them genuinely, that's when they're going to do whatever it takes for you and your company. Like if you ask my company, I ask them all the time, where are you not happy and where are you happy? I always like to know. Because there may be some communication that I may be missing. And so I always ask the question so I know. Is this what you want? Because I don't want anyone in our company that doesn't want to be here. They're never going to serve at that level. So if you ask the questions, don't be afraid of the answers. You can always create a solution. Like you want to build a $100 million company, right? So leadership is going to be huge for you. You're not going to build $100 million without being a phenomenal leader, but also you're going to have to develop lots of leaders under you.
The leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do own a family-owned welding shop too. So I know a little bit about leadership, and I do have a business partner. We do have a culture in that company that's really not good, and you really brought that to the forefront of my brain. It's like, something, that company is just floating. It's not growing. It's just there.
Most companies have poor cultures. It's not just your company, because people don't put attention on culture. Then you'll watch a great company, and if you ask them, how did you build your company to such amazing levels? They will tell you, I focused on culture. Very few people do. Like when we do an event like this, most times, sometimes it doesn't work for everybody's schedule, we always take them out to a nice dinner, everyone on our team. Like this was around my birthday, so they said it's my birthday. I don't think that's why we did it. But, like they wanted to do a roast. Thank God that didn't happen, Mikey. But can you believe that? Yeah. But yeah. But we always do something. We're always doing something. I think the best way that I've ever learned how to build culture is you talk nothing about your business. You just go out with each other. You get to know each other. You ask questions. Like if you're out at dinner with me, I'm never talking about our business, with my team. Like we already do that every week. Why do I need to do it when we're out to dinner? And so we talk about old stories. We get to know each other more. So every time you do it, you build a closer bond with each other. And that's how I've always built culture on that level. Then you build culture on, let's everyone create a sprint goal, and let's sprint towards this, and then let's celebrate it. Then that's a different side of a culture you build. Then there could be communication that went awry. So we get on a call and we say, okay, everyone, let's let it out. That's a different part of the culture. So it's not always sunshine. You have to have the real conversations to build real cultures. So it's all of the above that's going to build the overall brand, because you could be a great marketer, you could have a great product, but if people are miserable in your environment, it's an energy that we put out into the universe, and we're going to get that back. So we want to make sure we don't put out what we don't want.
Now, would you say, to build that culture, would you say you take your team out like once a month?
We're virtual for most of us. So I wouldn't say once a month because we don't live in the same area. I would say the people who live in my area, we do a lot together. The people who are out of town, we normally create it around events. Yeah. So I did an event a couple months ago, and everyone was there, and I asked everyone to stay another day because I thought it was an opportunity to train. So I did a private training just with my team, with my coaches. I can't remember how long we did it. It was probably 3 hours. And then I took them out to lunch after that. So that was an opportunity to build the culture and build an extra opportunity to train because we were all together. You can't train them enough. Like that's the thing a lot of companies miss. They don't train their team enough. That's why they don't grow. They don't scale because the scale is about the growth of the people. So you get the people to grow, you get their self-esteem to grow, you get their goals to grow, the whole company grows.
Yeah, it's one thing I've noticed, with the culture too. It's like a carousel. It just keeps on going round and round, and there's no growth attached to it.
Yeah, I think you've got to have some real conversations going forward when you leave. Because you know how much it's probably costing you in dollar value?
Yes.
Yeah. How much is your company worth?
2 million.
2 million. How many millions do you think you're losing?
Probably quite a bit.
Yeah.
We've done $500,000 in sales just in 3 months.
Yeah.
I mean, we're growing, but not to the exponential rate that I would see it, and I foresee that company.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Good. Anybody else?
I was wondering if you could just give more clarity on what you mean by leverage, whether it's personal or leadership.
Leverage, it doesn't take your time. So leverage is anything you can get somebody else to do that you don't want to do. Like anything you don't want to do, I don't believe we should ever do. Because we're not going to enjoy doing it anyway, so how great are we doing it, right? And now outsourcing is such an easy way. Like think about how many people are leveraging ChatGPT right now, or any of the AI functions. AI is like when the internet first came right now. It's such at the infancy stages. Wait till it really gets even more and more evolved. Would you agree with that, Patty?
Absolutely.
Would you agree with that? Seriously? Yeah. I think it's like dial-up internet right now. I think it's exactly like dial-up internet. I don't even think it's close. So you want to start opening your mind to it and learning it, especially for business. So you want to start opening because that's a huge opportunity to leverage.
You mentioned goals related to the company. Having a magnificent obsession around the goal. So how do you mix or relate your personal goal with the company goal? You focus on both?
Well, for me, I'm more focused on the company goal. I only pick one goal at a time. Everything I do is from the company. Like, what is in the best interest of the company? Did I share this with you guys the other day about a lesson I learned about this?
No.
So probably 5 years ago, I was masterminding with my mentor. And he said, Arash, I want to teach you something that Lloyd Conan taught me. And he said, everything is in what's in the best interest of the company. And he said, that's what I want you to think about. And from that day, that's all I ever remember. I remember, like, the best part of the team is we. That's the biggest superstar of a team is we. Now, there may be a top performer, there always is, but that's not a team. So the best part of the team is we, but if we make everything, if you're a business owner, everything has to be about the best interests of the company. So I look at our business as just my personal is mixed in with my business, so it's a part of what I do. So that's how I do it. But a lot of people are not even committed to their business. Have you noticed that? Their business is a hobby. They say I have a business, but it's more of a hobby. You have to be committed to grow the business. So it's the same thing as your own personal goal. Like you may be leading people right now, but your goal there should be a goal on how you're leading them. There should be a plan on how you're leading them. And then you may look at it and say, maybe I don't have a plan, so maybe that's the problem. So we want to make sure you have a plan.